Stampin' friends, and welcome. This is Dee Osburn, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. In today's video, we will be making this beautiful card. I'm so pleased with the way this came out. We are celebrating World Watercolor Month, and I have watercolored these flowers and put it together with the Abigail Rose Designer Series paper and made this card. So if you like this video as you go along, would you please like, share, and subscribe? Give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment, and I will comment back to everyone who comments to me. So everything that you need to make this card will be listed in the description below, all the links and measurements and everything. So everything will be listed below. So let's get started. Let's dive into this because I had so much fun making this, and I'm just super pleased with the way it has come out. The technique that I'm using, I've used with my students. I'm a teacher, and I have used this technique with my students in my classroom. We do what we call artist trading cards, and they absolutely love the watercolor ones, and so it's a lot of fun to make this, and it's such an easy technique. You will absolutely love it too. So let's talk about the things that we're going to need. All right, so I used the Cottage Rose Stamp Set. I used You Are Positively the Greatest for the sentiment, and I used all four of the images that are on in the stamp set. So we have those that we're using. I also used the Cottage Flowers dies, and these are the ones that I used. I'll show you what's in here, the rest of what's in here. So in the die set, you get all of these dies as well as these, and these are the ones that I used. So you get this one. This cuts out the big flower. And you get the leaf one, and I cut 2 extras of that. And then you get this big die. And this one will cut out a couple of the images. It cuts out the 3, so you have this stamp that cuts out there, that stamps the 3 flowers. And then this cuts that out. And then the medium-sized flower, this one cuts that one out. All right, so if you're careful, you can, which I'm not that good, so if you're careful, you can place these exactly, but I'm going to stamp this on one and this one on another one because getting it exact is rather difficult and time consuming, so especially if you make a mistake and you have to start over. So I just used 2 smaller pieces of watercolor paper. So you do need some fluid 100 watercolor paper, and I just used two pieces. You will need a piece of Smoky Slate Cardstock. That's our card base, and that's cut at 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. So that's our card base. You fold that in half, give it a nice crisp fold. Then for the card front, I cut a piece of Abigail Rose, the gray one that's on the other side. So this gray piece, and I cut it at 5 1/4 by 4. And then the striped one is just a little bit smaller than that, and I cut it, this is also from the Abigail Rose, I did the striped one, and it's at 5 by 3 3/4. So in this card I have the stripes going up and down, and then I accidentally cut one where the stripes were going sideways horizontally, so we are going to use this piece in today's card, and you can decide which one you like better. I'm just going to tell you now, I'm betting that I like the vertical stripes better, but I didn't want to waste this piece of paper, so we'll do it, and then we'll decide. You guys can vote and leave me a comment and tell me which direction you like better, the horizontal or the vertical. You will also need a piece of, 2 pieces of basic white. One for your inside, cut at 5 1/4 by 4, and then another one also cut at 5 1/4 by 4 to tear and make these 2 pieces. Now, if you have the deckled rectangles dies, then you could make this piece, but I didn't have it, so I just tore it. I really can't wait to get my deckled rectangles because I think they're just so awesome. But, you know, I tore it and made it myself since I didn't have the die. All right, let's get started. I'll show you the technique that we use to make these beautiful, beautiful flowers. So I'm going to put this kind of off to the side so that we can still see it a little bit. Yeah, but it's not in my way. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp this. And you'll also need some inkers, okay, some re-inkers. So the colors that I used Daffodil Delight for the yellow. I used Flirty Flamingo, Melon Mambo, and Calypso Coral. Now, if you wanted to use like a petal pink or something to match this more, you could do that. But I really liked the vibrant colors, so I went with that. And then for the leaves, I did Mint Macaron and Garden Green. Okay, so you're going to need some Stays-On ink. I am going to push this out of my way just a touch while I stamp this. You're going to need Stays-On ink, and you'll need your Stays-On cleaner. And then you're going to need, just to make life easy on yourself, you'll need a paper towel, you know, folded down. All right, so we're going to start with the big flower first. So let's go ahead and ink that up and stamp it. Get it good and inked up. I love the way Stays-On smells. I kind of think it smells like amaretto. I don't know if anybody else thinks that, but that's kind of how I feel about it. All right, so you take this and you just stamp it. You just stamp it on to your piece of fluid 100 watercolor paper and let it, you know, sit for a minute and get a nice stamped image on there. Okay, there we go. All right, then you're to clean this, you take your Stays-On cleaner. You don't clean this like you would clean a Memento ink or any of the other inks. You use the Stays-On cleaner and you just rub it on top. And then you can just dab it off onto your paper towel, and then you can clean it on your Stampin' scrub or whatever you have, because this ink is water resistant. That's why it's good for watercoloring. So you have to use this other cleaner for it. So I'm going to put that out of the way. Since I have my Stays-On, I'm going to go ahead and stamp my other images, and then I'll show you, we'll get right into that technique because the stamping doesn't take very long. So I want 2 of these. All right, and I think I need to stamp these on my separate piece because, you know, that die, right? And so I'm going to turn it this way because if you look at the die, you don't want to waste your watercolor paper because it's kind of expensive. Okay, so you want to put one so that your die goes off to the edges. So you're going to put one on there. And then you'll cut that. You'll die cut that. Then you'll die cut the next one. We'll put that on this side as well. Okay, so you want 2 of those, and then you just need 1 of the 3 one. Okay, and then we're going to turn this around the other way so that we can put this die on here like this, right? And so you're just going to stamp that like that. Okay, then you clean it. A little cleaner on there, Clean this one. Okay. Get your paper towel back. Blot that off. Put it to the side. Blot this one off. Put it to the side. You can clean those with your Stampin' scrub. All right. So now we're going to jump into this technique. Fun, fun, right? This is the best part. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to spray. I'm going to do the big flower first. Okay, you're going to spray both sides of this paper. So you're going to turn it over, and I have my spritzer, and I'm just going to spray it. Spraying it on both sides kind of keeps it from, curling up on you. So then I'm going to spray this side. Okay. You'll need a little bowl of water, and you'll need 2 aqua painters. You're going to need the one that's flat like this. Okay. And then you'll need one that's like a paintbrush. Okay. So before I put more water on there, I'm going to get my ink ready. All right, I'm going to start with yellow. I'm going to put just a little bit of yellow on my block. Can you see that there? And I'll put a little bit of each of the pinks on there as well. We can move this over so that you can kind of see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, that'll work. So I'm going to have a pink. This is the Flirty Flamingo. And I'm going to do a Melon Mambo. Just one little dot is all you need. It does not take much. And then a little Calypso Coral. And you don't, I put the Calypso Coral on there. I don't use it necessarily a whole lot. But I like having that little touch of orange in there, but a lot of when you put the yellow on there and then you put the pink, it kind of makes orange, so you don't necessarily need it, but it's nice to have it. Then you're going to dip your flat brush into your water. Let's bring this over here so you can see it. So I'm dipping it in the water, and I'm just going to brush a ton of water all over my image, and you can put it on the edges of your paper too, just to keep it, kind of flat. Then I'm going to start with yellow, and I'm dipping in here. I'm getting a lot of water, and I'm going to put it into my yellow, and then I'm just going to touch it. Whoa, look at that. Look how it went all over that flower. And then I'm going to rinse, and I'm going to get my Flirty Flamingo, and I'm going to do the same thing, but not right on top, okay? I'm going to kind of go off to the side. Right? And if you need more, you do more. Whoa, look at that. And it doesn't matter that it goes off because you're going to die cut this. All right, so just a little bit of that. Rinse it off. And then I want some Melon Mambo. And this is a really deep color, so you have to be careful that it doesn't take over. So I'm just going to put a touch of it there, touch of it there. Just here and there to give that nice blended look. Okay, and if I think I want it to be a little more blended, I can spritz to make that flow just a little bit more. Okay, now I feel like it is a little bit orange, but I think I will put a little Calypso Coral in there. I'm just wanting just a little bit more orange in here. And one thing I can do, it looks like my yellow is getting taken over, so I can come back and add a little more yellow. And there, now I have my orange, right? Okay. I feel like this needs to be spread out a little bit more. I'm going to put a little more Melon Mambo right in there. Okay. Anywhere where you think maybe a little more pink would be pretty, you just add that. And you can always, touch it up with some water to spread it out. I think that's beautiful. I'm going to leave it just like that. Okay, now Now that I've done that, I do want to do with the Melon Mambo, I want to come in and I want to touch these because I want all of these to be that pretty kind of deep pink. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another paper towel, and I don't worry that it's going into the leaves, that's okay. I'm going to take this paper towel, I'm going to set it down, and I'm just going to blot that, and that's what my flower is going to look like. Isn't that beautiful? So now I'm going to get my flat brush again, and I'm going to put water again on just my leaves. Okay, and I'm going to get my mint macaron and put a little bit of mint macaron. And you don't need very much garden green. The garden green really takes over because it's really deep. So you don't need very much of that. And I'll get my paintbrush again and get some water into that mint macaron, and I'm going to touch my leaves. And you want to be careful because see how it's going into your flower. So if you want to just get the edge of your paper towel and let it soak that, you know, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I'm taking the edge of the paper towel and I'm just soaking that green off of the edge. Okay. And then I'll touch a little bit of green here. Okay. And again, I don't want the green in my flower, so I'm just going to soak that green out of there. You just touch where the green is, and it soaks that water up and picks it up and takes it away. There. All right. Now for the garden green, you're going to do the same thing, right? And the garden green really is dark, so don't put much on there. Loving it. Just spread that garden green out a little bit. And there you go. Then you take your paper towel and you blot it. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Love it. Love, love, love. All right, looks like this leaf, even though it's probably going to be covered, might just need to be a little greener than it is. Okay, and then I'm going to blot. There we go. Oh, I love it. It's beautiful. I'm going to blot the flower again. Very nice. Now you're just going to take this and set it off to the side and let it dry because you can't cut it while it's wet, right? It won't cut. And so I'm going to bring in my other piece. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to spritz on the back. It's nice that we'll get to do two of these, so you get to see it twice. It's not a hard technique. It's very simple. This one's easier because there's no green on this one. So you just spritz it so it lays flat. Take your flat painter and really just put the water on there. And see, it stays on ink, so it doesn't spread. It doesn't mess up the black ink. All right, so I'm going to start again, and I'm going to go in with my yellow. Put a little yellow. Love it. A little yellow. Yellow, yellow, yellow. All right, then I'm going to rinse out. I'm going to put some Flirty Flamingo. So pretty. I love Flirty Flamingo. Just touch it on there. Running out. Okay. Everywhere where there's a leaf. Okay. Everywhere. And then I'm going to get my Melon Mambo. And I'm going to make some of the little edges darker. Maybe right there. So pretty. A little bit of little darker pieces. Okay. It's really pooling up there. I think I'm going to go ahead and blot this one. Going to go ahead and blot this one, get a little of that water, because now some of it can spread out. All right, so I'm gonna get some pink. Ooh, that was a good one. I think I need some more yellow in there as well. Blot some of that off. Again, you can always add more and take some away, right? So I want some, I think I want a little more Flirty Flamingo, so I'm going to add another. I kind of used up all my Flirty Flamingo. So I'm going to dot a bit of that, put some more on there. And I might add on these a little bit of Calypso Coral. So let's see. A little bit of Flirty Flamingo. Yeah. Okay. Putting a little more water on there as I go as well with my Flirty Flamingo. And maybe, how about some Calypso Coral? Let's try that. Put a little bit of orange hue in there. All right. The last thing I'm going to do is I think I want a little more yellow. So I'm going to blot this. Okay. And then with my yellow, I'll add the water. So I want to add the yellow, right? And add the yellow. A little more yellow. It's Daffodil Delight. Okay. There, I love that. A little Melon Mambo in there to make that a little more orange where that Daffodil Delight is. I'm loving that. I think that's gorgeous. I think it's gorgeous. Put a little. There we go. Oh, all right. So now I'm just going to blot it again. And you just keep doing this until you get it how you want it. I think that's beautiful. I think that's exactly what I want. I'm going to put just a tiny bit more pink on that one. I love pink. Gotta have pink. There we go. Love it. Okay. Now, blot. We're going to blot real good so that we can set this aside and let it dry. And then once it's dry, which will take a little bit of time, so you just put it to the side and then it'll dry and you can cut them out. I have a couple of extra ones from the last time I did it, so you'll end up with an extra or so, and that's okay. And now you have your wet, it's not a tissue, paper towel, so that makes this cleanup really easy. Okay. All right, now that's all clean. You can put that to the side. All right, while we're waiting for our watercolor to dry, we're going to clean up our work surface. Put that to the side. You still have that damp towel, so you can just clean your surface really easily. And you can put your card base together. And you'll still have to wait a little bit of time because it does take a little bit of time for that to dry. But I'm going to go ahead and put my inside into my card. Okay, just a little bit of Tombow. I like the glue. I used to use tape. I like the tape too, but I really love the glue, so I'm kind of a glue girl. All right, so this piece is the one that we're going to tear. We'll do that in just a second, but let's go ahead and we'll put our what do you call it? having a hard time talking today. Put our card front on here. So, and I liked it at an angle a little bit. I thought that was kind of fun looking. So you're just going to make sure that your corners are on the paper, because you know, if the corners stick out, it won't fit in your envelope. Okay, so there's that. And then you're gonna, before you put this on, you're going to put the sheer ribbon on. So I have a piece of white sheer ribbon, and you can get this on Amazon, or you can use one of the whites that Stampin' Up! Sells, but they don't have a sheer one like this. And I really like the delicate nature of this ribbon, so that's what I like to use. So I'm going to get a glue dot and press it down, and I'll put one on the other side. Okay. Whoops. Press it down. And then we'll wrap this around this striped piece, probably about 2/3 of the way down. About right there. Okay. All right, now you're going to tear your, we can go ahead and glue that down. But before we glue it down, it might be nice to be able to pick this up and use it. So we're going to tear just the edges off of this. And you tear towards yourself to get the edge that you want. So, and I'm just tearing about that much off. We can always tear more off, but you can't put some back on. So if you have the deckled rectangles, that would be amazing. I can't wait to get mine. But if you don't, then this technique works too. And we're just tearing the edge off. And like I said, we might tear some more, but you can always tear more. You can't put any back on. So you just want this nice little rectangle for to have a place to build your card front. And so if you want it to be a little bit smaller, which I think I do, we're just going to tear it just a tiny bit more. Okay? And you just keep doing this till you get the size that you want. You're putting your thumb and your forefinger here gives this a little more stability, so that when you tear it, it's a little bit easier. Okay, so I think that's probably about the size that I want. I could tear a tiny bit more from this side, but I think I'm good with it. Yeah, I think I'm good with it. That's about right. All right, now I tore a lot of that off, so I'm short one piece of paper. So it looks like we're gonna need another piece of paper. I have my other piece of paper, and before I tear it, I want to stamp. So you can either use your Stays On because you had that out and handy, or you can get some memento, and I'm going to stamp You Are Positively the Greatest. Okay, so let's do that. And we're going to stamp it right about there so that we can tear that square around it. And you just tear it towards yourself. And you just use the words as a guide, because that's, you know, that's how big you need it. Right? Use your thumb and your forefinger to give it stability and to be able to tear exactly where you want it. I didn't tear towards myself right there. Let's fix that. I'll tear a couple pieces towards us. There. That'll work. All right, so then you have your little square. This one's a little bit bigger than my original one, but that's okay. If I need to tear it down, I can. All right, so one thing that we need to do that we neglected to do, or I neglected to do, is stamp the extra leaves. So let's go ahead and do that. We can just do it on this piece because we have a little extra room there. And let's get the leaf die. I was just looking and I was like, I don't have any extra leaves. We need some extra leaves. So you're just going to stamp it. And I want 2 of them. So I'm going to turn this way. And I'm going to stamp another one right there. Perfect. Okay. I'll use my StazOn and I clean that. I like to clean the StazOn off because it's such a different ink. I like to do it right away. And then I don't have to worry about it after that. So you get my... Okay. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing again, same technique. I'm going to... I don't need to spritz it because it's already kind of wet. I've already done that. So I'm just going to put a layer of water on here. And it's okay that I'm using the same water. It's a little pink, but that's okay. Unfortunately, though, I did clean my block. So I'm going to have to put a little dab of mint macaron. And another little dab of garden green. We're all human. We forget things, right? So, all right. So then I'm going to get some mint macaron. I'm going to touch it on here. Touch it on those leaves. I'm going to clean that off. And I'm going to get a little bit of garden green. And touch it on there as well. Be careful with it. Remember, it's a very deep color. It will kind of take over. If you want it to take over and have the darker leaves, then you are in business because it will. Maybe I'll have a little bit of darker there. There. Let's blot it and see what we have. So having several paper towels on hand is prudent. Ooh, I like that. Let's put some more garden green on here. I mean, this is mint macaron. Put a little more mint macaron. The first time you blot it, you still have water on there, so going back and dabbing with your painter is a good idea. And then we can blot it again. There, I like that. Do we want this to be a little, no, I don't think I want it to be a little deeper. It kind of matches those, so I like that. All right, easy peasy, right? All right, so we're gonna have to wait for this to dry and then we can cut it out. All right, let's go ahead and glue these pieces that we've torn to our card front, and we're also going to glue this piece. If I can get my glue to work. Okay. And we're going to put this one at the opposite angle that we oriented the first gray piece. Then we're going to take the piece that we tore with the rough edge towards us. We're going to turn it over and we're going to put some glue on the back of it. And we're going to slide it. I'm going to slide it right underneath. Let's look at our example. gonna slide it right underneath that ribbon and center it in this center of our striped paper. And then we'll wait to put this on it. But I just love this sentiment because it's very versatile. You could use it for a lot of different occasions. You are positively the greatest. That could be birthday, that could be congratulations, that could be a thank you. It could be so many different things. So I love that. All right, so we're gonna go cut out our watercolor pieces now because they are dry, and we'll come back and we'll build our flower and glue it on, make our bow, and we will be done. Oh, but then we'll have to put glitter on there. So let's go cut these out. Let me just show you real quick how easy it is to use this die before I go cut these out. So you're just gonna put that on there like that and cut that one out, and then that part you won't need anymore, it'll be gone. And then you'll put this one on there like that and cut that one out, then you won't need that, the rest of that anymore. Then you can turn it over and place your die on there. Just turn it until it matches the 3 that you have stamped, and then you'll cut that out. So super easy. So I'm going to go do that, and I will bring those pieces right back. All right, I've got all these beautiful pieces, my greenery, my centerpiece. This one's a little more pink than this one was. This one's a little more orange. And I think the orangey hue might go a little better with the paper, but I still love it. And I have my 2 medium-sized ones, if I can pick them up. And I have the 2, I should have a 3rd one, small one. Don't know what happened to it. I'll have to look for that. I might have dropped it along the way. And, oh, here, nope, that's not it. I'll find it. And so then what's fun is when you cut those, you end up with these kind of fun little pieces that you can save for another project. So let's start putting this together. So the way I did it, and I will have to find that other little one, but I can do that in just a second. I'm sure I dropped it. Is I start with the big piece, and I oriented it just like this, okay, because it's going to go on the card like that. And first thing I did was I popped up this flower. I wanted it to be the tallest. So I took, decide which one you want to be under and which one you want to be on top. So I think I'll do it just like that because I like the yellow on that one. And so then you just get a dimensional or 2 and put it on the back. I think 2, right? Pop that up. Okay. And you want to cover this part of the leaves, all right, and leave some of those other leaves kind of poking out a little bit so you see them, all right. Then you want, I think I did that a little bit different this time. No, it's pretty much the same. Maybe I turned it a little bit. I hear my dog. I think my dog wants to go outside. I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to put a little bit more of these leaves showing, because you're going to have a leaf at the top and a leaf at the bottom. So you want some on the side. Okay, so you want to have the two leaves showing like that, and a little bit off the bottom. So there, that's kind of perfect, I think. Actually, I'm going to change it one more time. You know, you can kind of take it off and play with it. This paper is really good about that. I think I'm going to do it kind of match. I better go let my dog out. Match these two leaves with these 2 parts. Okay, kind of make it go down. Maybe kind of at this kind of an angle. What do you think? Yeah, I think I like that. There, we'll do that. I like that one. Okay, decision made. You get to play around with it and decide what you want. Then I'm going to put this one with 2 glue dots. I'm going to slide that one in there, kind of like that. Okay, so let me get my glue dots and we'll do that. So I have my glue dots and I'm going to take this bigger flower. I have the bigger flower and the littler flower, and then I have this really big flower. So I'm going to take a glue dot and I'm going to put 2 glue dots on here in the same spot because I want it to be raised up just a little bit. Not as much as a dimensional would raise it, but enough, a little bit more than, you know, like glue or something would raise it. And so I'm going to put it right there. And just kind of arrange it how you like it. Okay. I think more yellow would have been good right there, but that's okay. So I'm going to put a leaf in there, and I'm going to just put some glue on the stem, and I'm going to attach it underneath, and I kind of want to look at, you know, what I have for space. So I want it to kind of be like that, and I'm going to put it like, I think I'm going to orient it like this. So you kind of want to play with that a little bit and figure out where you want that. And then you just push it down and it sticks because it's got glue to it. Then you can put this flower in there where you want it. Put a little bit of glue on the back. I don't have my tweezers right here with me, but I gently can hold it with my scissors and slide it right up in there. Okay. Slide it right up in there. I want it to tilt down more. So like that. Yeah. Okay. Oops. I think it wants to tilt like that, so maybe I'll let it. Okay. And then I'm going to put the last group of leaves. But no, I'm going to wait to do that. Put this flower there first. And so I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the front of this because I want it to stick to the flower. Okay. So I'm just going to put it like this. I went a little high on that glue, so I'm going to have to take some of that off. And I'm just going to use my scissors and scrape. Use my scissors and scrape. Okay. Scrape the top. Use my scissors along the edge and scrape. Okay. Then I'll put my last leaf on there. If I can get my glue to work. There we go. Now I have this gorgeous flower arrangement, and I'm going to think about where, you know, how much space I have for this one. So I want it to kind of go up like that, and I'll just press that down. Oops. Make that stick. Okay. Oh, it's not, doesn't want to, oh, I'm pressing in the wrong spot. That's why. I'm not pressing where the glue is. There we go. All right, so now I have this piece, okay? And I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to put dimensionals because I want the whole thing to be popped up. So put dimensional there, and I'll overlap this dimensional so it just holds that on a little bit better. And I'll overlap this dimensional so it holds on a little better. And then I'll put one there. Peel those off. If you have your pick tool, you can just pick them right off. But I didn't bring my tools in here, so. All right, so we're going to turn this over. And you want to think about your sentiment as well. So we're going to kind of guide those on there like that. Oh, it's so beautiful. I love it. All right, and then you're going to put dimensionals on the back of this one. And I wanted that to be nice and sturdy. So I put 5 of them on there. I don't usually use 5. I think 5 is a lot. But, I don't know. I wanted it on there like that. So I wanted it nice and sturdy. I didn't want it to push down anywhere. Because this fluid paper is a sturdy paper. I wanted it to kind of match. And so for this one, since I made it a little bit bigger, I'm going to slide it underneath. See, this one is smaller, and I didn't have to slide it underneath. But this one's a little bit bigger, so I'm going to slide it under there. Okay? And now we're going to make a bow. I'm going to take a very long piece of sheer white, and I'm going to get my bow maker. And if you don't know how to use a bow maker, I will show you. I do have a video on that and how to use that, and I will put a link below so that if you want a bow maker, you will know where to get one. So let me grab that bow maker. I'll push these things off to the side, and we're going to make a double looped bow. They're so pretty. All right, for a double looped bow, you want to have 2 holes in between your posts. And for a single looped bow, you just want 1, okay? So I have my bow maker here. It's a little dusty. And I get my ribbon. And this side is behind. When I say behind, I mean this side. So you start with your ribbon, and I only need a little bit on this side. So you start with your ribbon behind the posts, and you go in between and behind. Okay, I'm going in between the posts and then behind. And I'm going to do that again. In between and behind, and in between and behind. Now that gives us the double loops. And so when you get done, behind here you have your ribbon forms an X. So then the one that's on top, you want it to come, no, I'm sorry, the one that's on the bottom, you want it to come up and over and back in between so that you end up behind again. Okay, and that makes the little knot in the center, and then you just tie it like you would tie your shoe, make a knot. And that's as simple as it gets. You just make this little knot, and then you can, I like to pull the 2 loops in the front, and that way I can adjust them to be how I want them. Okay, and then you slide it off and adjust your loops, and you have this beautiful double looped bow. Isn't that pretty? So simple and so easy, and it works beautifully every single time. So now I used a lot of ribbon. I didn't need that much. I don't usually waste like that. So keep that in mind when you make your ribbon. I think that probably about 12 inches is all you need. So I'm going to put 2 glue dots on the back of this double bow ribbon. And I'm going to place it right there. And then I'll take my scissors and I'm going to snip the tails. Then I'm going to get my glitter, because that's the last thing we're going to do, is we're going to glitter our card. So let's get the glitter and our two-way glue pen. Two-way glue pen. And I'll put a little glue in the center of the flower, and the center of this one, and this one. Put some in the center of that one, and the center of that one. I put a little bit of glitter on the each of the leaves. Okay, I glittered these things. I just put dots of glitter on them. And then just a little bit coming out of the flowers. Not a whole lot. Just, whatever much you want. However, if you love glitter, then put a ton of glitter. If you just want it to be a hint of glitter, then do that. That's the beauty of this. You get to make it how you like it. So then I'm going to take my glitter and I'm going to sprinkle it. We're going to do one more glittery thing before we're done, but we're going to sprinkle it all over the flowers and the leaves and dump it off and tap, get all that extra out of there. Okay. And then, look how beautiful that is. You can kind of blow off what is extra. How gorgeous is that? I'm loving it. All right, and then the other thing that I did was I glittered around my sentiment. So I just took it and I went, and it starts out blue, but it dries clear. So you're just gonna go along the edges of your sentiment tag that you've made here with the glue, and then glitter it up. Okay, bring your glitter back in, sprinkle it all on your square, your little rectangle, your sentiment piece. Okay, and look what it does to it. Can you see it? Can you see how sparkly it is? All right, so now we have horizontal stripes and we have vertical stripes. And I do think I like the horizontal stripe, the vertical stripes better. So there's our two cards. What do you think? Which one do you like better? The horizontal, if I get my directions right, the vertical stripes or the horizontal stripes? You leave me a comment down below. You tell me. I think these both came out absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely love it. Let me see if I can get both of them in the shot here. Look how gorgeous they are. Love, love, love. I hope that you've loved this too. I hope that you'll give it a try. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you're going to give this a try. It's so super easy. And good luck with that. And I sure do hope that you will come back and see me again. Have a nice day.